What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Gage, and today I'm excited to talk to you about my Lyrilusc Tribrigade deck profile. Tri-Brigade is a very powerful and consistent and fun strategy with really cool artwork that is usually played in conjunction with other strategies like Melfi and more recently Zodiac. However, with the recent hit to Zodiac Dryden, I don't believe that that variant is superior any longer. I think that people will revert to the Lyrilusc version when they realize just how powerful and consistent it really is. Again, being able to end on a barrier statue of the Stormwinds, in addition to your normal combo, is very powerful, and I don't think that a lot of people are siding for it as well. Beforehand, people would play things like Godarla to try and tribute over it, so I think that it's actually a really good meta call. I will show off some of the powerful combos towards the end of the video, and if you're a fan of this type of content, please remember to like and subscribe, and comment in the comment section below what are some of the variants that you play with Tri-Brigade. So without further ado, I'm just going to hop right into it. So, I am playing 3 copies of Rescue Cat. Such a cute card and a deceptively powerful starter. You could send this face-up card on your side of the field to the grave to special summon 2 level 3 or lower beast-type monsters from the deck to the field. So that is really great because you are able to special summon a card like Kit, which is a beast, a card like Cuirass, and that will allow you to go into some pretty crazy combos. So Rescue Cat, cute card, and very powerful, so that's why I'm playing 3 copies. And then I also am playing 3 copies of Tri-Brigade Nerval. So you may be hearing me use a term called Tri-Beast, which is just referencing a beast warrior, or winged beast type monster, because a lot of the Tri-Brigade effects actually reference that. So all of the Tri-Brigades on field can banish any number of Tri-Beasts from the graveyard to special summon a Tri-Beast Link monster from your extra deck with a Link rating equal to the number banished. Also, you can only use Tri-Beast monsters as Link material for the rest of the turn, and that's not really that much of a big deal because almost all of the cards you're going to be using for material are Tri-Beast monsters. So Nerval is really good because if this is sent to the grave, you can add a Tri-Brigade monster from the deck to your hand. So that is really good if you're missing a particular Tri-Brigade monster. You could send this to the graveyard and that will be able to add your missing piece. So triple copies of Nerval. I am also playing 2 copies of Tri-Brigade Kit. So, like the other Tri-Brigades, you're able to banish Tri-Beast from the grave, to special summon a Tri-Beast Link monster from the extra deck, etc. However, if this is sent to the graveyard, you can send a Tri-Brigade card from the deck to your graveyard. So that includes monsters as well as spells and traps. And believe it or not, the spells and traps for Tri-Brigades are actually pretty good. So I will show off some of the more powerful ones later on. Tri-Brigade Kit is a really good card to play, especially since it's also special summonable off of your Rescue Cat, and I'm honestly considering playing 3 copies. Additionally, I am playing triple copies of Tri-Brigade Cuirass. I've seen builds with 2 or 3. I like 3 because it is a free body. You could discard one other Tri-Beast monster to special summon this card from your hand. And then, of course, when it's on the field, it has the ability, like the other Tri-Brigades, to banish the Tri-Beast from the grave to special a Tri-Beast Link from the extra deck. So Tri-Brigade Cuirass is still really good. It's a free body, and of course it can help you discard some of those other Tri-Beasts into the grave to give you extra Link material. And then for the last Tri-Brigade monster, I am playing Double Fractal. Like the other Tri-Brigades, it has the ability to banish as many Tri-Beasts from the grave to special a Tri-Beast Link from the extra. However, this one is really good because you can send it from your hand or field to the grave, and you can send 1 level 3 or lower Tri-Beast monster from your deck to the graveyard. So that is pretty much all of your Tri-Brigade monsters, so you're able to trigger some of those effects, load your graveyard with even more material, and it's just a really good card. I'm only playing 2 because I am playing 3 copies of Fire Formation Tanky. However, you are able to play 2 Tanky, 3 Fractal. It doesn't really make a difference. I like the the variation that I am playing right now. So double fractal, triple copies is also an option as well. And that's it for the Tri-Brigades. Now to show off the Lyrilusc engine, I am playing triple Turquoise Warbler. So this card says if you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand, so it's a free body. And if this card is special summoned, you can special summon one Lyrilusc monster from your hand or graveyard. So if you have another one of the Lyriluscs, like Cobalt Sparrow, for example, that are in your hand, you can special summon it to the field. What's also great is that because it can special summon from the graveyard, you can actually use Fractal to send a Lyrilusc monster from the deck to the grave, and then you can special summon it off of the Warbler. So it is really good, really versatile, and that's why I play 3 of Warbler, the best one. And then, of course, 2 copies of Lyrilusc Cobalt Sparrow. So if this one is special summoned, you can add a level 1 Winged Beast monster from the deck to your hand. So you could add the other Lyrilusc monster that we are playing. And that's really good. I mean, as you can see, they search each other, they special summon each other. It provides you with a bunch of material that you could use to go into the Lyrilusc Xyz monsters. And, of course, continue to combo off and provide you with a Winged Beast in the graveyard as well for extra material to use off of your Tri-Brigades to link spam and continue comboing. So 2 Cobalt Sparrow has worked for me so far. And then the 1 Sapphire Swallow. If you control a Winged Beast type monster, you could special summon both this card and a level 1 Winged Beast type monster from your hand. So like I mentioned, they're all special summoning and searching each other, so that is why the engine is so good, and because they're wins, they're able to help you get into your barrier statue, and of course the Xyz monsters are pretty strong too, and I'll talk about why a little later on. And now for the hand traps, I'm playing 3 copies of DD Crow. It is a level 1 Winged Beast. Funny enough, you can actually special summon the DD Crow from your hand for additional material off of Cobalt Sparrow. And because it's level 1, it will allow you to also go into one of the Xyz monsters, which I'll show off later. So it's also a good meta call. A lot of decks are playing cards that are going to be used in the graveyard, so you could use DD Crow as disruption. And yeah, it's disruption, meta relevant, and has great synergy with the deck, so that's why I love the 3 DD Crow. And then also 3 copies of Ash Blossom. It's Ash Blossom, it hits most decks. Just to be able to slow them down, it's nice to be able to have it at your disposal, and yeah, it's just the most versatile one, and that's why I'm still playing 3 copies. And then I am playing 3 copies of Psyframe Gear Gamma and the 1 driver, but we don't talk about that card. You don't want to draw into it. Essentially, Gamma is going to help your plays go through. So if you use Tenki to attempt to search your Fractal, you could actually protect it from Ash or other hand traps using Gamma. If you have your Rescue Cat on field and you send it to the grave and use its effect, you can actually use Gamma to protect the Rescue Cat from Ash Blossom because the cat is no longer on your side of the field. So that is why Gamma is still a really good hand trap of choice. Of course, because you're playing the Gamma and the driver, you are able to play Omega in the extra deck, which I am doing. And yeah, it's just a very powerful hand trap at being able to protect your own cards as well as stop your opponent. And then for the last of the monsters, I'm playing 1 Mist Valley Apex Avian and 1 Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds for the Samorg combo. So obviously, Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds is the MVP here. Neither player can special summon monsters except for wind monsters, so your opponent is going to have a difficult time outing this card unless they are playing very specific counters. Back in the day, a lot of people were playing Godarla in the side deck because of how worried they were about this variant. And now that Zodiac is no longer the variant of choice, Lyriluscs are going to reign supreme, and that is why Barrier Statue is even scarier than it was before. Of course, you also have Mist Valley Apex Avian to help protect your Barrier Statue, because once per chain, when a card or effect is activated, you can quick effect target itself, return it to the hand, and if you do, negate the activation and destroy it. So this is really good at being able to protect pretty much any of your cards, and yeah, that's why you're playing 1 copy of each. And I will go ahead and show off a combo including these towards the end of the video. And now for the spells. I'm playing 3 copies of Tenki. Like I mentioned, this is a 3 extra copies of your Fractal. You're really just using it to search that, and that's why I do play the 3 copies. However, if you are interested in playing 3 Fractal and 2 Tenki, that works as well. And then I am playing 2 copies of Pot of Desires. Consistency is key. Again, this may be another reason why you might want to play 3 copies of Fractal, just to make absolute sure that you don't banish it. But for me, essentially, if I'm able to play a card that says draw 2 cards, it's Pot of Greed to me, and I'm going to do so. And we're playing 3 copies of pretty much anything that we really, really need to see. And that's why I am playing the 2 copies of Desires. To round out the spells, I have 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Called by the Grave, and 1 Rendezvous. Foolish Burial, all of our Tri-Brigades are useful in some way in the graveyard, whether as material or for activating an effect, so Foolish Burial is great for triggering that. Called by the Grave to protect yourself from hand traps, of course, and then Tri-Brigade Rendezvous, which has an effect in the grave, where if a linked beast, beast warrior, or winged beast monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this from the graveyard instead, so you can actually use this to protect your barrier statue of the Stormwinds. So I like having this at your disposal because you can send this card from the deck to the graveyard off of kit, and now you have protection for your Apex Avian, your barrier statue. And then I am playing, to round out the main deck, 1 Tri-Brigade Oath and Revolt. So Tri-Brigade Oath is good because you can use it to target a link monster that you control, to special summon a Tri-Beast monster with a different type from your hand or graveyard. However, if you control at least 1 of each Beast, Beast Warrior, and Winged Beast monster, which you can in a lot of instances, you can banish this from the graveyard and then target a face-up spell or trap your opponent controls and negate its effects. So you have kit that can send this to the graveyard, and then you essentially have spell and trap negation at your disposal. So that is really great. And then Revolt is awesome because you can special summon a number of your Tri-Beast monsters that are banished or in the grave, but negate their effects, and then immediately link summon a Tri-Brigade link monster using those monsters. So it's like a soul charge that immediately allows you to go into your link monsters. Usually you are going to use all of those materials to go into your Shurag, which will then allow you to banish a card your opponent controls. So the traps and the spells for the Tri-Brigade archetype are actually really good and support the engine, so that's why I like playing 1 of each of these, but you could play around with the ratios to fit your particular style. So guys, that's it for the main deck. Now to show off the extra. I'm playing 2 copies of Farragut the Barren Blossom and 1 Bearbrum the Rampant Rampager. So Farragut is great because during the main phase you could special summon a level 4 or lower Tri-Beast from your hand. Also, you cannot use monsters as link material for the rest of the turn, except for Tri-Beast monsters. Again, not a concern to us. And if this is sent to the graveyard, you can draw a card, then place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. So if you do have a card that would have better been useful in the deck, you can actually use that to swap, so that is very useful. And of course, it's a link too, so you are going to just use it to link climb in a lot of instances. Bearbrum is a newer addition to the deck. If this card is sent to the grave, you can add a Tri-Brigade spell or trap from the deck to your hand. So you can go ahead and use that to search your Revolt so that you have the follow-up. So that's why I play 1 copy. It is a little bit more restrictive, but that is okay because we are happy to play it nonetheless. Additionally, we are playing the Ancient Warrior's Oath as well as Harpy Conductor. Harpy Conductor being a wind, and because you are playing the Lyrilusc engine, you are going to have access to wind monsters, so it helps you to link climb. And the Ancient Warrior's Oath can be special summoned using the effects of the Tri-Brigades. And essentially, if your opponent has a card that you are interested in protecting from your barrier statue, you can actually protect it. And that's really great. You can bounce a card your opponent controls. And so ending on the double Dragon Lords is also a great option for protecting the barrier statue. And then for the 3s, we are playing Tri-Brigade Rugal the Silver Sheller and the Samorg Bird of Sovereignty. Rugal is really used for link climbing, and of course the Samorg is great because on end phase you could special summon the barrier statue. So a lot of the times you are going to be ending on your Samorg. And then just for helping to get some monsters into the graveyard, you have a lot of monsters in your deck that have 1,000 or less attack that you can easily normal summon and then go into Almirage to get them into the grave and potentially get their effects. So one Almirage has been good for me. And then for the Link 4s, I am playing one Shurag and Apollosa, Bow of the Goddess. So you'll notice that there are 14 cards in this extra deck. Realistically, you're going to probably want to use Shurag. This is just great because it acts as both an extender and removal. So if it's special summoned, or if another beast, beast warrior, or winged beast, so a tri-beast is special summoned to your field, you can banish one card on the field. So yeah, once he's summoned, you can banish whatever you choose, and that's very powerful. And it can be used as an extender because if it's sent to the grave, you can add a tri-beast monster from the deck to your hand whose level is less than or equal to the number of your banished tri-beast monsters. So by this point, you're going to have a lot of your tri-beast monsters banished, so you are going to pretty much be able to add whatever you want to your hand. A lot of your combos, you're also able to end on a 2 or 3 negate Apollosa, which is still really powerful at being able to protect and negate some of those pesky monster effects. So that is it for the Link monsters. For the Xyz monsters, I am playing one copy of Recital Starling and one Assembled Nightingale. Recital Starling is great because if it's Xyz summoned, you could target a face-up monster on the field. It gains 300 attack and defense for each material. However, once per turn, you could detach a material from this card to add a level 1 Winged Beast monster from the deck to your hand. So you could use this to search for any missing Lyrilusc main deck monster, which is really good because, as you know, they special summon each other, etc., etc. And Assembled Nightingale is great because this one, it gains 200 attack for each Xyz material attached to it. However, this card can attack directly. During either player's turn, you could detach an Xyz material, and until the end of the turn, Lyrilusc monsters can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. So you may already see where I'm going with this. You could detach to protect this card, attack your opponent directly, and you can use it to then go into a AA Zeus to clear your opponent's field. So as you can see, the Lyrilusc engine allows us to play Zeus, which is a very powerful card. It is a card that, of course, the Zodiac engine still has access to, but without Dryden, it is not going to be nearly as effective, and I like that the Nightingale is a very reliable way of helping you get into it. So Zeus, it's a power card in on itself, and that's why I am playing the one copy. And then lastly, I am playing the Psyframe Lord Omega. Once during the turn, during the main phase, you could quick effect banish both this card from the field and a random card from your opponent's hand face up until the next standby phase. So yeah, obviously that is really good if your opponent has another pesky hand trap that might get in the way of continuing on with your combo. You could potentially banish it off of the Omega. And since you're playing the Gamma package, it's pretty much free, so that's why I play the one copy. And guys, as you can see, that's the 14th card. I recommend another Shurag just so that you have access to its banishing effect as well as its ability to search. And that's it. I'm not going to show off a side deck. As I always recommend, tailor it to your specific metagame. I'm always going to recommend cards that are really great against specific matchups. Right now, I recommend playing things like Anti-Spell Fragrance for the Sky Striker matchup. I also recommend playing cards like Nibiru or Ghost Bell that are great against combo decks. The meta is so large right now. There are an abundance of cards in the game that are useful to you. So I highly recommend looking into specific hand traps that you believe will be great at your particular locals. So guys, that's going to be it for the deck profile. Thanks for so much for sticking around. And if you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the deck and how you play it. And until next time, GG. All right, everyone, welcome to the combo portion of the video. The thing about Tri-Brigades is that there are a ton of combos, so I definitely recommend trying them out for yourselves. This is just one that I am able to remember offhand that is one of the most powerful combos that you can go into. And assuming you go in uninterrupted, this is what your end board may look like. And bear with me, I'm still learning these combos. They are pretty wild, so it may take me a moment just to be able to think off the top of my head, but I'll try to be as clear and concise as possible. So without further ado, we'll start off. We'll send the Fractal to the graveyard, and we'll use the Fractal to send the Cobalt Sparrow. So as you can see, we're starting off with the Warbler and the Fractal for this, just in case I didn't mention that. So you'll use the Fractal to send the Cobalt Sparrow, and now you can actually special the Warbler to special Cobalt from grave. Now on summon, it will trigger, and Warbler and the Cobalt from grave will add the Nerval from the deck to your hand. And the Warbler and Cobalt will go into the Xyz monster Recital Starling. You will detach the Warbler, and this will add the Sparrow to our hand. And then we will use the Swallow to special summon itself and Nerval. All right. Now we'll link the, let's see, the Xyz and the Swallow. Yeah, we'll use the Xyz and Swallow to go into a copy of Harpy Conductor. Now we'll use Nerval's effect on field to banish 3, so I guess it doesn't really matter, to special a Rugal. And now that we have the Rugal, we can use it and Nerval to go into a copy of Apollousa. Now, Nerval is going to trigger Engrave to add yourself a kit. And now you will normal summon the kit and use its effect to banish 4 to special a Shurag. Great. So now the Shurag and the kit are going to be used as for a link summon to go into your Farigit. And Shurag Engrave will add a Karis to your hand. You will then also use the kit Engrave to dump a copy of Oath from the deck to your graveyard. Now you use the Farigit's effect to special summon Karis from your hand. And now Karis will banish Kit and the Shurag that are in your grave to special summon a double Dragon Lords to your side of the field. Now you'll use the Farigit and the Conductor to go into your Samorg, the Bird of Sovereignty. So from here on end phase, you will then have the ability to grab yourself a barrier statue pointing to the Bird of Sovereignty. And this is what your end board's going to look like. So you have a 2-negate Apollousa. You have your barrier statue preventing your opponent from special summoning. And you have a bounce with the double Dragon Lords. Not to mention, you have the protection in your graveyard from a spell or trap using Oath's Engrave effect, so you can negate a spell and trap your opponent controls. So guys, that's it for the first combo. I'll show you one more, including a copy of Rescue Cat. Hey everyone, welcome to the second portion of the combo video. This time it will include a Rescue Cat as well as any other Tri-Beast monster. So I'm just going to go ahead and start it off. We're going to normal summon our copy of Rescue Cat, send it to the grave to special summon a copy of Kit and Karaz from the deck to the field. So now you will link the Kit and the Karaz into a copy of Farigit, and Kit will use its ability in the grave to send a Nerval from the deck to the grave as well. Nerval will now trigger to add a Fractal to your hand. Now we'll use Farigit's effect to special summon the Fractal from our hand, and we'll use Fractal's effect to banish 4 cards in the grave to go into our Shurag. Now we will use all of these, so we will link the Shurag, the Farigit, and the Fractal to go into a 3-negate Apollousa. And then we'll use Shurag's effect to add a Karis from the deck to our hand. So this is where the Tri-Beast is necessary, because you will discard the Tri-Beast to special summon your copy of Karas from your hand. And then you could use Karas's effect to banish 3 from the grave. So I guess these 3. To special summon your Simorgh. And then from there, on end phase, you will have yourself your copy of Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds. So as you can see, you are still able to end on your negates. You are still able to end on your Barrier Statue, and that only included the copy of Rescue Cat and 1 other Tri-Beast. So guys, as you can see, this is a big brain deck. It requires a lot of managing your resources. If you really like combo decks that are going to really rattle the brain and cause you to think about all of your plays, then this is the one for you. It is very powerful. I highly, highly recommend Ishan's channel, who is essentially the Tri-Brigade god. He is a huge inspiration for me wanting to do this deck. And that's going to be it for the video. Thanks for sticking around if you are still here. And until next time, GG.